Okay, let's bring you this story now. South Africa has struck a historic 130 billion rand deal with rich countries to move away from coal. The deal involves the UK, US, France and the EU. It was announced on Tuesday at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow in Scotland. Let's speak now to Happy Khambule, who's a climate change commissioner from the Climate Change Coordinating Commission, which is under the presidency of the Republic. Happy, good afternoon. Welcome to eNCA. Good news indeed. I mean, this is a big deal. 131 billion rand to assist South Africa to move away from being one of the worst emitters of carbon dioxide and all kinds of noxious gases.
Hi, and it's a pleasure to join you. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a deal that is going to catalyze more access to funding, and it's really focusing on the just transition. So it can only be celebrated because it's something that has been worked on for a while.
Yeah, I spoke to an energy expert an hour ago or so, if not nearly 2 hours ago, from the University of Cape Town, who also pointed out how important this deal is, but said that it's going to be key to see how it's implemented, what kind of plan will make it really come to life. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's some details of the partnership that are still outstanding. So we need to understand what do we mean by decarbonization? Is the decarbonization plan the same thing as we understand under the IRP, or is it something that is beyond what is implementable in the IRP? In terms of the timelines that have been proposed for the first phase of this deal, where you have 6 months and a year, the nitty-gritty around whether or not the subsequent technologies that are away from coal, do those include gas, or do those actually just move directly into renewable energy? And also, really, how much carbon reductions are we really talking about? Which power stations are going to be the ones that are going to be removed or rather decommissioned at a little bit of a faster rate so that we can reduce our carbon intensity? So the deal, as much as it is good, it is leaving a lot to desire in terms of the level of information. But again, as I said, we can only celebrate the fact that we're getting international support in order to transition away from coal.
Yeah, some people will say it's about time the rich countries pay a poor country like South Africa or a developing country like South Africa, because they're the biggest, historically, the biggest emitters of all these gases that have caused climate change. So they need to chip in to assist, and we have to make sure that it works in our favor.
Correct. And then to also add a complexity to the issue is that they're also the primary receivers of the goods that we produce in South Africa, right? So if you look at manufacturing, many of the products, like in automotive manufacturing, is going to Europe, are going into the United States, and many of the products, like our wines, as well as many of our produce in terms of our fruits, are going to these countries. And the way in which we do or make those foods, make those kinds of products and goods, is by using coal. So for them, it's also a good thing that whilst they're undergoing this process of legislating their own carbon emission reductions, that their products and services also need to have less of a carbon input. So it's a two-way kind of an arrangement. Not only are they paying or supporting South Africa, they're also ensuring their own economies are less carbon intensive.
Okay. Now, finally, Happy, before I let you go, I know you are attending this COP26 climate meeting that's happening in Glasgow. It's a big deal. It's great. But there have been concerns that as the country begins its transition away from coal to renewable sources of energy, with this amount of money that's been given, jobs must not be lost. I mean, at least 100,000 jobs in the coal mining sector are at stake.
Yeah, so the number of jobs in the coal mining sector, as you have said, go across direct and indirect jobs. So obviously we need to save those jobs. But what we also need to do is to make sure that the opportunities in the transition sector where we are going to absorb a lot more jobs, not only for those who are going to be leaving the jobs in the coal sector, but also the job opportunities of those who are coming into employment. So there's a balance that needs to be struck. However, we also have to think about the plan, the actual just transition plan that is being developed by South Africa through also some of the work that the Presidential Commission is undertaking, will ensure that we are at least seamlessly starting to speak to the big issues such as how many jobs can be saved, what kind of jobs can be or what kind of people in which kind of jobs will be reskilled, and the opportunities that are available for the broader public in terms of transitioning into renewables.
Yeah, and what new job opportunities there might be in this transition into the future. Thank you very much for your time there. That's Happy Khambule, Climate Change Commissioner from the Presidential Climate Change Coordinating Commission. This is eNCA on DSTV Channel 43, of course.